My life with the Walter boys is the summer I turned pretty but with cowboy hats. Pretty accurate description, I think, but that is a topic for a future video. For today, I want to discuss how the show fixed the book, giving the characters more depth, and made some really key changes that I think really improved the story. Honestly, I know the show isn't some kind of masterpiece, but I had a good enough time watching it. And considering the source material it had to work with, I actually think the show did a fantastic job of cleaning it up. Like, seriously, no joke. I think they did a really good job. Give me a few minutes of your time and you'll see what I mean. Just to be clear, I will only be discussing Season 1 versus Book 1, as they are the direct comparison, so there will be no spoilers for Season 2. Alright, let's start with a quick synopsis of the start of the story. How did Jackie end up in this situation? Jackie's whole family died in one moment. Poof, gone, dipped out, went to see the Maker, which honestly, super dark way to start a romance fantasy, but I'm kinda here for it. She is sent to live with the Walters, who are family friends and basically a realistic depiction of the Yellowstone family, but living in Colorado. This creates a sort of duck out of water scenario. She's adjusting to the new cowboy environment while creating romantic bonds with two of the boys. Honestly, without context, this plot sounds a lot like a different kind of video. Stepsister stuck between two brothers on a farm. I'm just saying, you know I'm right. Because in the books, it isn't just Alex and Cole she finds attractive. She makes it clear she's found the Hemsworth farm. But obviously we know with context, some of them being young, that's not what this is about. But I just thought it'd be funny to mention. The first big difference in the book is actually how Jackie ends up with the Walters. In the show, they make a big deal about how the uncle wants to adopt her, but he travels a lot and he can't. And the parents' will stated that she should go with their best friend, Catherine, who somehow Jackie has not only never met, but never even heard of. What a friend. But in the book, Jackie actually does go to her uncle first, but he ain't feeling the vibe. You know, he's not really feeling being a dad. He thinks she could use more of a family dynamic and decides to send her to the Walters, whose relationship with her family is flimsy at best. There's no real mention of this close bond. Honestly, I think the show did it better because that shit was kind of mean. Like, I was like, God damn, that hurt me. Especially since, unlike in the show, he never comes to visit or calls. He literally sends her to a farm upstate and is like, not my problem anymore. This is especially messed up for two reasons. One, Jackie and her uncle are billionaires. With a B, as in private jets for a weekend trip rich. I know money can't replace family, but it could pay for a therapist, which she desperately needs. More on that in a second. Two, the Walter boys are not happy about her moving in. In the show, it's like being welcomed by a giant warm hug, a bunch of teddy bears, safe for the most part. In the books, she spends a considerable amount of time winning them all over one at a time because they are pissed she is there, with the exception of the ones that are trying to get with her. This girl is going through it, understandably so. And honestly, these boys are not being very sympathetic. They're kind of being a bit dickish. I mean, it is kind of crazy they seem to hate on her for a situation she literally has no control in. And with that, we can discuss the main character of the story, Jackie. And honestly, no hate on the show or the actress, but she is more interesting in the books for one simple reason. There is one thing they do better. She is actually shown to be grieving. The story sets up that she has gone through what is honestly a mind-breaking, life-changing ordeal. And in the show, she has like one night terror, gets upset over a teapot once, but otherwise she's pretty okay. Like, there are very few scenes where she seems upset. I felt like that wasn't developed enough. But in the books, the whole story is carried around that tragedy. She can't sleep. She keeps accidentally finding her sister's clothes. She becomes both impulsive but also laser focused on making her family proud of her beyond the grave. Every part of her life, even in Colorado, is dictated by her grief. It even affects the dynamic between choosing between Alex and Cole. Her dead family is literally choosing her love life. What she is basically an uptight control freak in a situation that is beyond her control. When she talks about her family, it isn't like bad, but it doesn't feel very homely, which is the opposite of the Walters household.
At home, I felt the kitchen was there to look pretty, and if I made a mess, I was in trouble. This kitchen looked lived in, and for some reason I liked it.
But being in the new environment does start to change her, and she becomes more open, spontaneous, and social. I feel like by stripping away her grief, the story is too focused on the love triangle and lacks the appropriate depth, which is kind of the whole point of the book, getting over the grief. The boys and everything else is just kind of window dressing for her dealing with this tragedy. It's not the case in the show. Okay, now that I've done the book positive, I want to talk about what the show actually handles better, and that is the love triangle, as well as the boys themselves. Let's start with Cole. Is Cole a little cheesy? No. He is a hell of a lot of cheese. He is a mountain of cheese. But honestly, he might be the only bad boy that I can think of that's worth giving a second chance to. Let me explain. With most stories and their bad boys, they do some horrendous shit for like 80% of their screen time. And then they have one big act with cello music that makes you realize it's all worth it. They will literally burn down a hospital, kill your brother, sleep with your best friend, scam your mum for all her money, but then they'll carve your name into a tree and you'll be like, oh, it was all worth it in the end. Is it though? I'm not sure that balances out the scales, to be honest. Cole is actually the opposite. He is like 80% good with 20% dick. He is a kind brother, he's very welcoming to Jackie, he even tries to be a good friend despite the fact that his friend is sort of replacing him and living his dream. He's trying his best to be supportive in a situation which is impossible to be supportive. Don't get me wrong, he still does some dickish things, but it feels more like a defense mechanism against the pain of him feeling like his life is over. Football was everything to him and it's been taken away. He feels lost and hopeless, and it's over for him.
Chose to stay in this lame-ass town, and now you don't know what it's like to have that choice taken away from you.
What he's looking for right now is a combination of self-destruction and dopamine relief. However, I have to say that underneath all that, he does have a good heart. That is Cole in the show. In the books, he is much more of a dick. Like, don't get me wrong, his highs and lows aren't as excessive. But the football thing does not seem to bother him as much, especially since he already got into a college that he's going to. So all of his bad actions do seem more self-serving, especially since, like, unlike in the show where he's good to a lot of different people, like his younger sister, in the book all of his good deeds are directed at Jackie. So when people say that Cole doesn't do nice things, it really does feel like they mean it.
Hey, no, Cole Walter doesn't do nice.
A perfect comparison of Cole in the book versus Cole in the show is Cole stealing Alex's ex. In the show, I feel like they cleaned it up a lot more because you actually can't really blame him. Cole had no idea they were involved in any way because he was gone, and he only found out once it happened, and at which point he ended it.
He was away all summer. I had no idea she and Alex were together till I saw his reaction at the party.
Like, that really was beyond his control because he didn't have all the information, and also what kind of monster hits on her boyfriend's brother? She a hoe. I'm sorry, she a hoe. In the book though, he knew they were together, but he thought they'd broken up. And I know things work differently in smaller towns, like cross-dating is more of a thing. I had friends who came from a village and there's like 7 eligible people, so they all date within each other. But seriously, you couldn't find anyone better than your brother's recent ex who isn't even his ex? Like, I don't feel like that has a lot of justification, unlike the show version. I also feel like the other problem that the book suffers from in terms of Cole is tell, don't show. In the book, they tell us Cole is a slut. When we go to school, it's like he has a different girl to make out with in every period. But we never actually see him interact with women aside from Jackie. I think the show benefits from the fact that it actually shows Erin being a more fleshed out character. We get to see someone who is a victim of Cole's behavior, and in turn, by seeing her suffering, we see the consequences, and that sells his flaws a lot cleaner. They're not telling us he's a dick, they're showing us he's a dick. Honestly, Cole might be the biggest upgrade in the show. Out of all the characters, I actually think he might be the biggest upgrade. And normally, I'm not on board with the whole jock part of a love triangle. I have to say I am Team Cole. And on that note, we can move on to Alex. Alex. Whiny little Alex. I went through a bit of a journey with Alex, if I'm being honest, because at first I'm like, why are you being so whiny? Jackie obviously prefers you, so stop being jealous. It was annoying me. And then the whole thing with Cole and his ex thing came out, and I was like, you know what? I was a bit harsh. Like, fair enough, you have a reason to be insecure. I feel bad. But then they started dating, and I don't know, I didn't really feel them as a couple. Which is weird because they date for significantly longer in the show than in the book. The story in the books happens across 6 weeks, and she obviously doesn't get with Alex straight from the beginning, so I'm guessing they date for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe, if that. But yeah, no, I never saw them as a couple. I don't know. I just was not feeling their romantic moments at all. Once they started dating, aside from the finger and I love you, can you really name romantic moments they shared? Now imagine my shock when I found out that actually some of their big romantic moments with Alex in the show was actually stolen from Cole. Alex is such a side man in the book that they had to take moments away from Cole and give it to Alex just to lie to you that there's even a chance of them being together. If I'm being real, the only thing Alex really likes to do in the books is play video games. It's kind of his whole thing, and Jackie's not really feeling video games because it's not really her personality. But yeah, that's like half his scenes, video games. But yeah, no, Cole is the one who took her to the loft to write her name on the pole and got her to jump off the banister. Also in the show, it is very clear early days that Alex is actually the one that Jackie fancies. She keeps giving him eyes and staring him down and then tries to drunk kiss him. In the book, she is obsessed with Cole from the start. Like obsessed, love at first sight style vibes. I took one look at him and my heart fluttered. So I guess your question would be, why does she date Alex if she's so obsessed with Cole? Great question. I'm so glad you asked it. And the answer links back to what I was talking about earlier about her grief. She is trying to sort of protect the memory of her family's death by being sad about it in a way. She feels like moving on would be disrespectful to them. How can she possibly think about boys when she should be thinking about her family? And Cole is the one that makes her feel obsessed and forget the pain. What does that say about me? My whole family just died and all I can think about is him. Alex is her friend, and she constantly refers to him with words like safe, friend, dependable, all of which are great qualities you want in a dog. But from a boyfriend, I think you want a little bit more. A little bit of fire, a little bit of spice. At the end of the day, being with Alex gave her a defense mechanism against Cole. Those are her words, not mine. But you were safe. I started dating you so I wouldn't have to deal with him. She was never really that into Alex. The weird part is that Alex was never really that into Jackie. He was also using her. Don't get me wrong, he thinks she's attractive and he likes her, but he never loves her. He admits himself that he knows she prefers Cole. He is just trying to prove that he can steal a girl from Cole as revenge for his ex. I wanted to beat Cole, to feel I accomplished something he hadn't, and wanted to prove to Mary I was done with her. The show touches on this, but his feelings are also authentic.
The way I feel about you has nothing to do with my brother.
In the book, he admits it was more about Cole than it was about her. The ending actually involves them having a serious talk as they break up. And most of the quotes and points I used was from this one conversation, because it was the only time they went any deeper than, you should study, I want to play video games, you should study, come to my baseball game. Do you know what I mean? But all in all, they end on good terms, and Alex seems to step aside, even convinces her to go to New York for the summer. Although in this case, she doesn't go back with her uncle, she's going with Danny, who is the musical theatre kid. This obviously contrasts her running away in shame like in the show. This tells me that season 2, which I have yet to see, will most likely massively diverge from the book. So I am interested to see how it goes. Before I get to the conclusion, I just want to make 2 final points about the difference between these 2 stories. Firstly, Will is much less involved in the book. He is engaged, but he's barely mentioned. He has like 3 scenes until his actual wedding, and then the wedding is more about Jackie choosing between Alex and Cole. In the show, he has a whole subplot about them breaking up and getting back together, which to be honest, I was not super happy about how they resolved that because it just wasn't resolved. Their fundamental issue was that he did not know how to balance having a dream and a passion with his fiancée. He was stuck between 2 things he loved. In the end, he gave up on his dream because he was depressed and he got his fiancée back. They didn't actually solve anything. Maybe season 2 will explore how he can balance it and have both, because while he took it too far, he wasn't fundamentally wrong. Providing for your family is important, and so is having passion. But also, she's not wrong. They're 25, she wants to enjoy life. It's finding a balance between those things that we all have to achieve, and this relationship has to achieve. Secondly, the family having money problems is so real considering the cost of living and how many mouths they have to feed. I mean, goddamn, there's 12 of them, or so, there's 14 of them, 15 with Jackie. And I was like, that's too many kids. And then I saw Donna Paulson, and I was like, you know what, I would probably have more. I get it. But them having money problems would be an incredibly funny plot to include into the book, considering that Jackie is a billionaire. I feel like it would be such unintentional political commentary that like a billionaire comes to stay in their house, eats their food, and doesn't chip in. because that's how the rich stay rich. They don't spend their own money. Of course, this wasn't included in the book because she had no reason to give them money, because there wasn't really any implication that they were struggling with their financial status. That brings me to the end, and let's get to some conclusion here. Overall, despite the fact that I weirdly think Jackie in the book is a more complete character, I think that the plot, the story, the journey, and all the other characters are much better developed, especially Cole. I do want to be clear that I like the actress in the role. When I was reading the book, it was her face that I was picturing. I just don't think that they gave her the right material to work with. Again, she should have had more grief. Would I recommend the book? Probably not, to be honest. It was quite repetitive with some of its ideas and concepts. Cole's abs were mentioned 69 times. Alex was always being a friend. Danny was shy. Like, it was just, I don't know. It just felt repetitive. It felt like I was stuck in Groundhog Day. I'd probably place it on the same level of quality as the first The Summer I Turned Pretty book. So if you like that, check out this book. I know I keep bringing up that show, but you have to admit they are very comparable. In fact, I'm considering doing a video comparing these two shows because, well, they are the same.
Same, but different. But still same.
There are actually some interesting differences. When I first heard about this show, it was described to me as like Temu, The Summer I Turned Pretty. So that's kind of the mindset I went into when I was watching it. But the more I watched it, the more I realized there are actually significant differences, for better or for worse. Let me know in the comment section if that video is something that would interest you. Or I don't know, if this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll make that video. Full discretion, I'd never even heard of this show before someone told me to check it out in the comment sections, and I'm glad I did because I had fun making this video. But it just goes to show you I really do take feedback into consideration, so if there's any shows, books, or anything you want me to discuss, just let me know. I'm happy to sell out to my subscriber base. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the algorithm, and I've got lots of fun content coming your way. Plus, feel free to check out the videos on The Summer I've Turned Pretty, because I've mentioned it 10 times. You might as well watch the videos on it if that's your genre. I think they're pretty good if I say so myself. Maybe a bit too angry, but I don't know. I like them. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.